Rapper LaRussell exposed what? About Lil Wayne? We're going to play the video in a second. But before we play the video, LaRussell said something that I've said on this channel 2-3 years ago. And some of y'all had issues with it. Hell, a lot of people that had issues with what I said no longer watch this goddamn channel. They can't take the truth. And LaRussell talks about growing up on Lil Wayne and then going back and listening to his music and realizing out of all that career that he had, Lil Wayne ain't said shit. That's exactly what I've been saying. Not talking about his ability as a rapper. We know he has awesome ability. He's very creative with his words. You know what I mean? He talks about interesting topics. But overall, the topics ain't shit. So LaRussell has been experiencing a backlash from all the people, but nobody's talking about and saying what he said was wrong. So what we're about to do is we're going to get started. Give me like 45 seconds to a minute. I'm going to play the intro music and we're going to get started in about 35, 45 seconds. Let's go. We are here. I'm right here. What's up, y'all? So we're going to talk about this, what LaRussell said, because this is a very important point. This is something that this channel talks about all the time. And that's, it's not good enough to say something someone said a bar. The measure should be, okay, they said a clever bar, but what did that bar say? It's good to see young rapper LaRussell go off on this, but I'm about to play the video, but before I play the video, I want to say welcome, chat room. Thank y'all for joining, chat. I appreciate y'all. But we're going to go into what LaRussell said. We're going to dig into the backlash because he's gotten a huge backlash from a lot of fucking idiots out there. And we're going to dive into that and talk about what he said on a societal level. Y'all know me, I like talking about things from a societal level. So let's do this. We're going to play the video all the way through, and then we're going to come back and parse it piece by piece, all right? Let's go. This is what LaRussell said.
Yeah,
I gotta respect
he had a conviction.
I
had a moment in my journey where I had grew a disdain for Wayne just because I started listening to everything. Like, I started maturing as a human, and I'm like, damn, this nigga wasn't talking about nothing for a long time. And
I think that's
you.
what
I
his
asked him
argument
about that.
was.
you know, like as someone who like grew up in these communities
Right.
and grew up with homies who I seen want to be Bloods because they following Wayne and want to be gangster and want to shoot all the gun bar and shit.
Right.
Like I've seen the negative that he contributed to the community, and I had to look like, man, what are the songs where he really talked about something and gave? And out of 1,000 song log, you know, it's minute on this end.
It's like Georgia Bush.
And that do bother me. Tie My Hands.
That's what I was gonna say. Tie My Hands is the only one I can think of.
And that's the thing. It's like if I hug you once, but I slap the shit out you 1,000 times, you know, your affinity for me is going, you're probably going to remember me for this. And a lot of people don't, you know, as I mature, a lot of my old favorite artists, I'm now like, damn. Yeah. Like, I love you because I learned how to rap to you, but when you look at the contribution, it's like, man.
So that's what LaRussell had to say. We're going to get into that. I'm sorry, this was me. This is when I was teaching y'all about the music industry. Go and subscribe to Patreon if you want to be a part of this class that I have up on screen. We did some music history today on Patreon, and we got all the way into it. So for those of you coming in and y'all aren't familiar with the channel, I teach music from a 360-degree perspective. You know what I mean? And so this isn't a one-off argument for me. This is something I've been talking about for a long time on this channel. Landon said, Wayne been a weirdo, kissing men since we were kids. So, I almost banned you, Landon. My bad. I was trying to remove the comment on the screen. I almost banned Landon Dallas. My bad. Let me leave that to my mods. Let me leave the banning to my mods. I almost fucked up, homie. My bad. What's up, Star? What's up, Nerd Large? Everybody else is up in here. Boris Shock, Mogul Maze, Ben. I can't get to everybody, but appreciate all y'all for joining. So that's what he said. Wayne talked about something that happens to a lot of us. The music that you grew up listening to, you get to a point to where you realize, man, that song wasn't talking about shit. See, I know. I born in 81. And I grew up right as the gangster era of rap music took off. MC8, Quick, you know, Death Row Records. And then I was a teenager when the shiny suit era came. But I always knew I was a little bit different. When that shiny suit stuff came, the gangster stuff, I didn't like it when it came out. Although I love Snoop and Dre. I'm a huge Snoop and Dre fan to this day. But maturity is realizing that songs like Murder Was the Case ain't really something that you want to be talking about. You don't want to be singing murder. Murder was a case that they gave me. That's not something that you really want to attract in life. Although when I was a kid, I was singing murder. But then when you get older, you realize music is a prayer. And singing Murder Was the Case that they gave me is maybe not the prayer that I want to sing to the universe. That's maturity. The problem is, and we're going to get this in the chat. I'm not paying attention to the chat right now, but I'm sure this is coming to the chat. You get you regional dickheads who can't be objective about these truths in music because you're so tied to your region. You're so tied to the man you grew up listening to, and you'll defend Lil Wayne and you'll defend Drake quicker than you'll defend a woman in your community being talked to crazy by the liquor store owner. Y'all let that ride, but you'll ride for Lil Wayne, and even if he met you, he wouldn't remember you, nigga. LaRussell says some real stuff right there. You know, we all, if you grew up in the 90s, and especially if you grew up in the 2000s, especially, you grew up on some BS. And maturity is realizing that, yo, That was some BS. And LaRussell, being a rapper, you can hear it through his music. And I'm not the biggest LaRussell fan. I like what LaRussell does. His music isn't interesting to me. But I like what he says lyrically. I like his business model. And that man, that young dude got 100,000% of my support. His music just doesn't do it for me individually because I look for different things in music. But I can speak objectively about his music. Even though it's not my kind of music, I can still be objective. And what I've heard from LaRussell is brand consistency. His lyrics match his movement. And I've heard people say, oh, now they're complaining, Russell, well, you just signed with Jay-Z. You just signed with Rock Nation. I was watching Chig Smooth channel, and I like Chig Smooth channel. But, sometimes my brother Chigs can be, I'm not going to say anything negative about Chigs, because I think he has a great channel, so I won't say anything negative about him. But, you see the non-Black American perspective in what he's saying with a lot of things. I'll just leave it at that. But I won't disparage Chig Smooth's channel. I like his channel. I really do. And y'all should subscribe to Chig Smooth. I just disagree with some of his takeaways, but he's a grown man and he has the right to see it the way he sees it. So I won't say I won't say anything about his perspective because he runs an amazing channel. But you will see that the takeaways is people they just really mad at Rock Nation and they're mad at LaRussell saying, well, you signed. Look, you don't know what kind of deal LaRussell signed. Although, I saw what happened to Nipsey after he signed for the Victory Lap album. I just pray a different result because I know how the system works when it comes to positive Black men. You don't know what kind of deal he signed. And two, in music, the majors control all of the distribution. All of it. And there comes a time to where you got to play with the majors if you want to get on a certain level. And depending on what kind of a deal you sign with the majors, depends on how you play on that level. So I won't say anything about LaRussell's contract because I'm sure maybe he got the contract he and his lawyers saw could be the most beneficial to him. The only thing I'm concerned about is, we saw what happened when Prince re-signed with Warner Brothers, when he got back in the door with Warner Brothers. We saw what happened with Nipsey. These majors find ways, they find ways to whoopty wham boomty bam. But I'm still not going to be critical of LaRussell's signing with Rock Nation, even though I can't stand anything Rock Nation. Rock Nation is Live Nation. Anytime you see Rock Nation, you see Live Nation. And Live Nation controls all of the touring in the United States of America. I don't know if y'all know this, but Live Nation and Ticketmaster, they control somewhere close to like 80% of the venues that you can perform at in the United States of America. And they sign these deals to where if you're not a Rock Nation or if you don't have a direct deal with Live Nation, you can't go to a lot of these theaters that are around. The Microsoft Theater downtown, all these different theaters, a lot of these places are Live Nation venues. So in order for you to tour and get shows in these venues, it's like an artist don't really have much of a choice than to sign deals with these devils because they've monopolized and cornered the market. And that's the environment we're in 2026. Now, hopefully there'll be some antitrust lawsuits that come down that breaks this monopoly up. But unfortunately, that's the monopoly that a lot of artists are under. And I don't want to hear none of you dickheads that aren't in entertainment say, well, he coulda, shoulda, woulda. He coulda, shoulda, woulda. How about we take away 8 out of 10 options for you to make your money and see what you would do? You make your money touring and doing these shows, but 8 out of 10 places you can make money, you can't make money because you're not with these people. Let's see you do that shit on your job. I'll wait. So I won't hear none of them stupid ass comments. Well, he still coulda did. He still coulda. Why don't you find a still coulda and leave your motherfucking job and still coulda find a way to make some goddamn money? What's up, Mogul May? Says from Super Chat, I'm from NYC, so it's always about lyrics as a kid, but because it would challenge the listener. Real talk. Because it would challenge the listener, right? Yeah, Live Nation and Rock Nation are the same thing. There is no Rock Nation. Let's make that very clear. When you go back, and I broke this down about 3 years ago on my channel. When Rock Nation was founded and started, Live Nation signed Jay-Z to that $200 million touring deal. Who remembers that? In 2011, somewhere around there. They signed Jay-Z to that deal, and then out of that deal, proceeds went to start Rock Nation. Jay-Z never put his own money up for Rock Nation. Live Nation signed him to a deal, and some of the money out of that deal went to create Rock Nation. Rock Nation is Live Nation. It's like the Jordan brand with Nike. Jordan don't own that shit. They just paying Jordan a couple dollars, a couple shekels to use his name and likeness to push some shoes. Jay-Z don't own no goddamn Rock Nation. They just pay him a couple shekels to use his name, likeness, his image, all right? Remember that. So let's go through and break down what he said line by line. All right? Let me make this a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
yeah,
I gotta respect
he had a conviction.
I had a moment in my journey where I had grew a disdain for Wayne just because I started listening to everything. Like I started maturing as a human, and I'm like, damn, this nigga wasn't talking about nothing for a long time. And
I think that's I asked him about that.
You know, like as someone who like grew up in these communities, right, and grew up with homies who I seen want to be Bloods because they following Wayne and want to be gangster and want to shoot all the gun bar and shit. Right. Like I've seen the negative that he contributed to the.
Let's break that down. So I started to put pictures up, but I'm not. I can tell you this story because this story was told to me directly by the person who did it. First off, Lil Wayne ain't no blood, but he did. He gravitated towards the Bloods. He's technically a blood. He is technically a blood. And this is how it happened. There was an NBA player. This was when Baron Davis. Y'all remember Baron Davis played for the Charlotte Hornets? And this was told to me directly by somebody in his camp years ago. I heard this story 20 years ago. 06, 07 is when I heard this story. And I heard it in San Francisco when Baron played for the Warriors. It was somebody in his crew when the Charlotte Hornets went to New Orleans and became the New Orleans Hornets before they got renamed the New Orleans Pelicans. One of BD's homeboys was a blood here in LA. And this guy is very popular in NBA circles. Everybody in NBA, I fucks with him real hard. I'm just not gonna put his name out there. But he's a good dude. I like him. I've heard everybody know who Term is. Everybody know who Term is. He ain't no criminal, nothing. He ain't do nothing illegal. I've heard all the Smoke podcasts talk about Term. Wayne was like the up and coming rapper when BD and all them was down in New Orleans, the basketball player. And from what I heard, I wasn't there because I don't deal with street business. But from what I heard directly from those who were there, was basically Term is the dude that put Lil Wayne on. He was a little homie. Basically, you on. Now, what Lil Wayne does when he comes to LA and goes to them gang sections, I don't know. Because I'm never around that bullshit. If I see gang anything, DeJuan Brown is going 180 degrees in the opposite direction. But I said that to say, Wayne ain't he ain't somebody that grew up in LA and lived on the streets and did this and did that. He was the dude that, like Chris Brown and a lot of these people, Shaq before him. Shaq did the same thing. That was a popular thing. That's why it'd be funny looking at Shaq being all on TV, playing this straight ahead cop. Nigga, you did the same thing. Everybody was trying to be tied to somebody on the streets here in LA. And Wayne come from that class. And LaRussell and them Oakland dudes ain't like that. Oakland dudes never picked up on LA gang politics like that. But like what he said, when Lil Wayne started doing it, he started seeing people his age picking up on that negativity. And I can go with that because I remember me personally. Till this day, I was never the biggest, I'm not the biggest Tupac fan. I appreciate Tupac's greatness. He actually does have music of substance. He actually does have music lyrics. Tupac had a great balance of lyrics and bullshit. But I'm more of a Tupac with the Digital Underground era. That Death Row Tupac, when Death Row Records got to like 94, 95, 96, it had its original class, the Chronic, Doggy Style. But as you get into 95, 96, Death Row started to become way too commercialized gangster. And I saw with my own eyes here in LA, people who, when we was in elementary school, they was cool. These niggas got 2-parent households, all this shit. Now we get to Overripe Middle School. Our middle school is all black, but it's in a white neighborhood, but it's all black. These cats grew up west of Crenshaw, and all these niggas is tough now. And I remember looking around 8th, 9th grade like, nigga, when you get tough? When you become a gangster? We was just hooping. Nigga, now you calling me cuz? I got tired of that shit. Cause like me, I grew up in South Central. I grew up east of the 110 freeway. And then at the time, I lived like off Crenshaw and Rodeo in a blood neighborhood. And I always did my best to avoid all that shit. Now I'm going to Westchester High School, way on the west side of town, Overripe Middle School, white neighborhoods, but the school is like 98% black, but in white neighborhoods. And you did have some people that came from Inglewood. This back when Inglewood was Inglewood. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say back when Inglewood was Inglewood. You definitely had them brothers. But you had a lot of people who was raised in Ladera Heights. People who was raised in View Park. Or the north side of Inglewood that was basically lower Ladera. Your parents had dental insurance. Just got a new roof on your house. Now all of a sudden you blood. Like, nigga, shut up. I couldn't stand them niggas when I was in high school. Because I grew up in the middle of that shit. I saw some people get shot when I was a kid. Man, I'm not going to let this life define me. I had them principles as a 12-year-old. I am clearly in the squares lane. I saw what that gang life did just looking out my bedroom window. I saw that shit. And I ain't want no parts of it. None. I saw way too much death by the time I was 9 to want to deal with any parts of that gang shit. But I saw when Death Row hit, all these kids who didn't see what I saw growing up, these niggas grew up, you know, in a neighborly ass neighborhood, and now they all cuz. Nigga, shut up. But I saw that directly happen right around the time All Eyes on Me dropped. It's like when All Eyes on Me dropped, every studio gangster in the world came out of the woodworks. It was almost like Tupac made it cool for people who really wasn't gangster, like he wasn't a gangster, to now don the attire and talk like it and act like it. Now everybody Pac. I saw that shit. Oh shit, we got Brandy Kane in the chat. Me and Brandy went to middle school and high school together. Although she ended up leaving high school. But me and Brandy both went to Overright Middle School. She saw it. Brandy saw it. You have these niggas, these Ladera Heights raised niggas. Your mama dropping you off in a Lexus LS 350. And now all of a sudden, you want to come into school. You want to come into class. Oh, nah, cuz. Oh, nah, cuz. Like, man, if you don't sit your well-raised ass up, down, nigga. Brandy saw it. We was in school together. Hold on, Rocky trying to get out. Hold on. Go ahead, Rocky. You farting anyway, nigga. You stink. Talk about my dog like that. This nigga Rocky over here. God damn, this nigga. This nigga dropped some bombs and left. Keep your ass out of here, Rocky. Shit. Hold on. My dog dropped some bombs on my motherfucking ass and then left. Woo! God damn. This nigga Rocky and then leave. Hold on. That shit fucked my train of thought up. That dog. Nigga, Rocky, you got a demon in your stomach, nigga? What the fuck? Change up this dog food on your ass. Hold on. I got distracted by my dog and them bombs he dropping. Shit. So, but let's back to what I'm saying. I'm saying that because, again, I know one of you regional dickheads are going to come in. You just don't like the South. You just don't like the South. You just don't like the South. Fuck you, if that's your train of thought. It ain't about a region. It's about the message. Music is about the message. What are you saying? And music don't have to be preachy. It don't have to be preachy. Somebody said Pac never cosplayed a gangster though. What world the last Don? Were you born in 2000? This brother said Pac never cosplayed a gangster. I'm assuming that brother was born in 1994. Or after 94. I'm just gonna roll with that brother who made that comment was born after 94. I'm not gonna say anything mean. But I like what LaRussell is doing right here. He's doing what we all should do because we all grew up on some BS. We grew up on BS. And we got to be able to filter out what was for us and what was against us. Right, Westside Bo. Pac was only in LA for like less than a year. And he started banging more than everybody else. Y'all want... Yeah, I don't know about that, boy. But LaRussell's point, I'm gonna go to and make another point when it comes to what LaRussell's saying. You don't have to necessarily be preachy, but talking about messages in music. Wait, before I do that, look at this here. This is South Central LA down here. The gang Tupac was claiming was here in Compton. This is the gang Tupac was claiming. Let me see here. Hold on. This is where Tupac lived. Tupac was claiming, people say he wasn't cosplaying a gangster. Tupac was claiming a gang that was here in Compton. Where Tupac lived when he came to LA was the Broadcast Center Apartments right next to CBS Studios. This is where Tupac lived. Right here. These apartments, if you're ever here in LA, these apartments right here. There's a fucking Irwan downstairs. That expensive ass grocery store. These are the apartments that Tupac lived in when he died. These apartments are right next to goddamn where The Price is Right is filmed. That building right there, this is where they filmed The Price is Right. Where they got these bushes up you can't really see. But this is where they filmed The Price is Right. Right here, Television City. This is where Tupac lived. Tupac lived in front of the goddamn Irwan, next to the goddamn Television City and Pan Pacific Park. Right next to Park La Brea, which is basically, these are the Jewish projects right here, Park La Brea. And then right down the street from where Biggie died. Biggie got killed right here. Biggie was out here. The Peterson Museum. This is where Biggie got shot. Of course, Tupac was dead, but it's funny when you think about it like that. Biggie got shot right here. This building didn't look like this back then, but that's where Biggie got shot. Directions. So what's that? 1.2 miles from where Tupac lived to where Biggie got shot. All of that activity gets blamed on LA. Meanwhile, Tupac was cosplaying a gangster from Compton, way the fuck down here. And it's also the neighborhood where Lil Wayne supposedly got stripes. That's why I don't respect none of this shit. I don't respect none of this shit. Because it's all a game. It's all a game. No, Biggie did not get shot in San Vicente. And no, he got killed right there in front of the Automotive Museum. That's where the party was that night. I know people who were at the party that night that he got shot. But let's listen to more of what LaRussell got to say.
Community, and I had to look like, man, what are the songs where he really talked about something and gave? And out of 1,000 song catalog, it's minute on this end.
It's like Georgia Book.
But what exactly, like we said, out of all the songs that you've been giving us, have I not been saying this for a long time? Out of all the songs you've given us, you gave us 2 songs, like, that means something? Also, Pac lived in Marin and went to Tammuz High School when he was in the Bay. Okay, he was in Marin. I heard Marin was a good side of town.
And that do bother you. Man, Tie My Hands.
That's what I was going to say. Tie My Hands is the only one I can think of.
And that's the thing. It's like, if I hug you once, but I slap the shit out you 1,000 times, your affinity for me is gone. You're probably going to remember me for this.
I like that analogy. You hug me once, but slap the shit out of me 1,000 times. And this isn't just Lil Wayne. It isn't just Lil Wayne. This is hip hop of that era. The 2000s, the mid 90s to the 2000s. That's all that shit. That's all that. Tupac did have major squabbles, American Tradesman, but the people I know with the best squabbles aren't gangsters. Like we can't associate gangster with tough. The toughest guys I know are not tied to a gang. Let me make that clear again. The toughest people I know are not tied to a gang. They're not tied to a Crip, a Blood, nor the police. They're people who got hands and they got hands on their own. They don't need a gang. So yeah, Tupac was definitely tough, but I'm not going to conflate tough with gang. The toughest cats I know ain't got nothing to do with nobody's gang. That's just a fact. But you heard what he said. So I was doing my class this morning at my music university. And when I was thinking about positive music that got something to say, it's not always going to be preachy. Like y'all remember TLC? They had this song right here. TLC had this song right here. This was a very, very important song of my childhood. TLC often gets looked over. That song, What About Your Friend? That song by TLC was, will your friends, will they be around? Will they let you down? Talking about your inner circle. This is a song that gives you some level of substance. What we got out of the 90s, before the Telecommunications Act. That was a very fun song. But it was talking about the people, your circle. Look at your inner circle. Look who's around you. In a party jam. You had the biggest song of 95 was Waterfalls by TLC. This song was all about don't go chasing stuff. This was another way of saying, what does that analogy they use? A bird in the hand worth more than two in the bush. That's what Waterfalls was about. A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. Don't go chasing what you don't have. Ice Cube also talked about that so eloquently. A bird in the hand on death certificate. Won't take no for an answer. Now I gotta pay taxes that you never give me back. What about diapers, bottles, and Similac? Do I have to sell me a whole lot of crack for decent shelter and clothes on my back? Or should I just wait for help from Bush or Jesse Jackson in Operation Push? That's Ice Cube saying, do I wait on the president of the United States? The first Bush, by the way, he's talking about. Or do I depend on these so-called leaders like Jesse Jackson and they Operation Push? If you ask me, the whole thing needs a dush. A Massengale, what the hell? Crack will sell in the neighborhood. To the corner house bitches, Miss Parker, Little Joe, and Todd Bridges, or anybody that he knows. So I caught me a bird better known as a kilo. Now, this whole song is talking about the plight of why some people have to sell drugs. He's giving an understanding that in the social climate of where the black man was in 1991, a bird in the hand is probably worth more than the shit that the president and Jesse Jackson is talking about. But then he tells you now. So he tells you in the first part of the song, Ice Cube talks to you about this. He tells the world, okay, this is the appeal of the drug dealer. Not saying the drug dealer is right, but this is the appeal as to why he went there. And then from there, he's telling the drug dealer, you were cool until you get here.
But blacks are too fucking broke to be Republican. Now remember,
you were cool. You the Democrats ain't doing it for you, but we too broke to be Republicans. But you were cool until you stopped filling out your W-2. Now senators are getting high. You had what's his name, Marion Barry, who was a mayor, but you also had a lot of politicians that was getting caught on crack. There was rumors back then about Joe Biden's kids. We talk about senators. He's talking about Joe Biden's kids. They were talking about that back in the 90s. Okay? And now it's talking about how in this song, you know, there's an appeal, but there's also a death. This is a death certificate. There's also a death sentence behind that choice. So Cube isn't glorifying the streets. He's giving you an angle as to why people do what they do, but at the same time, your ass is gonna end up in death. The front side of death certificate is a death side, steady mobbing, summer vacation. It talks to you about AIDS. This song, Look Who's Burning. He's talking about this back around time Magic got AIDS. Magic had just got AIDS here in LA, and we was fucked up. And Cube made a whole song about AIDS. How unprotected sex can get you HIV or gonorrhea and have you dead. This is was 1991 hip hop. I want to kill Sam because he ain't my motherfucking uncle. Cube conflated what was going on in the streets to the slave trade. This is what we mean about an artist being able to put out something that's not preachy, but it's telling you about your social conditions, whether it be TLC, whether it be Cube, whether it be Arrested Development, whether it be X-Clan. This is what LaRussell's talking about. When I talk about, okay, what's a person's total, because people get caught up in, ooh, that was a bar. That was a bar. Okay. What did the bar say? TLC's bars is about questioning, hey, make sure your friends is good. Make sure you ain't got no fair weather friends around you. Cube is saying, okay, this is the appeal of the streets, but look how you're going to end up if you take that. You compare that to what Wayne was talking about. Yeah, who's the Mac? Chat room. And do I sound like an old nigga or do I sound like somebody that's making sense? Let me know. Buck Rogers says, Tupac passed being loyal. Don't ever disrespect Tupac again. Who the fuck disrespected Tupac? I'll keep your money, but nigga, get the wax out your ears. I'm telling the truth. Died being loyal. No, he was a studio gangster. He was a great artist, but that was studio gangster shit. He wasn't a gangster. And the move to let you know Tupac wasn't a gangster, look at how he died. Of course, the government killed his ass. I'm a firm believer in that. The government, because there's no way in hell that was Vegas before the bridges and shit. You can't get out of Vegas that fast after a Tyson fight. So I'm a firm believer the government has something to do with Tupac dying. But look what he did. The motherfucker started a fight in a casino with felons. Gangsters know you don't start shit with your partners that got felonies because you can put them back in getting locked up. That whole move about starting a fight with felons with you, you saw Suge ended up going to jail because of that. No, a gangster know, okay, I'm going to be cool right now. And I'm going to see you later. You don't start a fight in a casino with a bunch of felons, nigga. No, Tupac shooting 2 cops is being a man, not being a gangster. A gangster is somebody that's looking for community that takes advantage of people. Tupac shooting those cops was him being a man. He was not a gangster. I don't know what's up. Like, this going on along. I'm looking to read some of these comments. Y'all making LaRussell's point even stronger. A lot of you niggas is conflating manliness with gangster. Y'all conflating tough with gangster. Those two don't go together. Most of your gangsters be snitching to the cops about they other gangsters. The fuck is y'all talking about? Fucking dummies. So, were the deacons of defense gangsters? Huh? Was Amzie Moore a gangster? Huh? All these are men. Got a damn thing to do with being no goddamn gangster. The fuck is wrong with some of y'all? The fuck is wrong with some of y'all? Gangster is not been like gang. If you look at the when you look at the gang life, let's think about the gang life real closely. Let's think about it real close. Most of the gang life is acquiescing and submitting to the traps that were laid for you by the government. Ooh, did I say that? Yeah, I said it. The gangsters, the hustlers, not all of them, but the gangsters, most of them, they're the ones who fell for the trap. They fell for the trick. America set up a lot of shit to drive black people into that lifestyle. It's a lot of black men who were set up for that who didn't take the bait. Or they was gangster long enough to work themselves out of that environment. And then when they whoopty-whamp, worked themselves and got themselves in position to where they didn't have to be gangster no more, they moved to Vegas, they moved somewhere else, and became men. They became plumbers, electricians, mechanics, lawyers. Yes, that's what the gangsters I know did. They grew up, if you grew up in a certain neighborhood to where that's where you had to be to get out, they used it to get out and become productive members of society. Any nigga with great cornrows still talking about his set, that nigga lost. He became exactly what the system wanted him to be. The men are the ones who were faced with those same traps and said, not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. Yeah, my money may come slower, but I ain't gotta look over my back. Yeah, man. You know, I was being 21, raised in South Central, and seeing your friends that was hustling, you 19, 20, you over here, you on the bus. I remember being on the bus stop on the way to college, sitting on the bus, and seeing my hustling friends with a brand new 99 Chevy Tahoe on 20s. This back when 20s was new, 2022s was new. And you sitting on a bus stop And you seeing them with the girls and the better cars than what you got. Being a real man is saying, you know what? I'm not going to get into that shit. I'm going to stay to my mission, keep doing what I do. Yeah, I'm out the bus now. Now I'm driving this little GMC Jimmy. Now the homie driving next to me with a brand new Chevy Camaro on 22s, on Dayton's, on 20-inch Dayton's. Yeah. No. Nah. Not falling for it. The tough guys are the ones who didn't fall for that shit and stayed focused. Or they went in that lifestyle for the time that they were in that environment, got their money, and flipped themselves out of that lifestyle. Niggas love conflating, like that's something, but that goes into what LaRussell was saying. These people supporting and pushing that lifestyle. The reason why Lil Wayne got to as big as he got was because he was pushing that degenerate lifestyle. And it led a lot of people into that degenerate lifestyle that he wasn't even living. He wasn't a gangster. He was like most of these rappers. Proximity to gangster is what he was. He wasn't the one talking that shit. Yeah, tough guys knew how to say no. Right. That's real talk, Zero. A lot of people in here don't practice active listening in their shows, right? And yeah, but you're right. That's why I don't see when gangster rap and then shiny suit era rap started getting pushed. That went into the drug and lean rap. That was a part of a mass effort to dumb down society. And it worked. It worked. It worked. We're seeing it right now. Somebody says, what about the Still I Rise album? What about it? Like what LaRussell said, you can't give me 2 good songs and 1,000 songs worth of BS and say, and get credit. That's real talk. Look, Elisino, Wayne made Bloods popular, and that nigga wasn't even a real Blood. He wasn't living none of that life he was talking. I told y'all who put him on, and I heard it directly from him 20 years ago. The man that put him on told me face to face. It'd be different if he was one of those cats that really earned his stripes and he's telling his story. Like, at least MC8 really did do that shit. At least MC8 was telling his story. Wayne wasn't even telling his story. Well, he was telling the story when he was talking about that goddamn lean. But the gangster stuff wasn't even the story to tell. And Wayne's, think about it. Wayne, mixtape era Wayne, living in New Orleans, them cats got money. You think he's around on the day-to-day? Okay, Wayne gets popular as a hot boy. When was that, 1999? Hot Boys was 99, right? Mixtape Wayne, 04, 05. Mainstream Wayne with the Carter was at 06, somewhere around there. You think this dude who's been famous since he was 99, since the year 1999, was involved in all that street shit after he got famous? I mean, come on, people. Let's think. Wayne got famous right when I graduated high school. And he was younger than me. His teenage years, this dude was famous. The bling era, Wayne was famous. Wayne been famous all century. You're right, Brandon. He just happens to be from a ghetto city. Y'all think Wayne was involved in that shit and he was famous? You see how these adults, it's some adults even in the chat room that still don't get it. Do you really think a famous dude is running around doing all this shit? The other rappers who talked about that stuff, they talk about a life before fame. This nigga Wayne was famous when he was what? 16? 15? Wayne was a teenager. Yeah, 10. So, LaRussell is bringing up a fair point. I remember I was being raised in South Central. I knew a few cats that like really hooped. Yeah, he was 12 or 13 when he got famous, right? Like here in LA, how it worked. In LA is where the Bloods and Crips were created. If you had a specialized skill in Los Angeles during the 80s and the 90s, the gangsters left you alone. Banging was your choice. If you could really hoop in LA, that's one thing I do respect about the real LA gangs, the ones that they locked up with them all injunction laws of the 90s. I respect the 80s and the 90s niggas. 80s and the 90s, there was a code. If you had a skill set, the gangsters would be like, what you doing over here? Get your ass out of here. Go hoop. Go play the drums. Brandy, am I lying? If you had a specialized or recognized skill, the gangsters did not trap you and make you do that. There's a hell of a lot more humanity to the LA gangs than these punk ass rappers even give them credit for. They don't even talk about the gangs holistically. My interaction with gangs when I was a kid, I used to hoop and play the drums. I used to hoop and play the drums. And when I would be down at Rancho Cienega Park, that's where I would hoop. This is some real, since y'all want to talk all this fake ass gangster shit, let's talk. When I was over here, I lived right here. Right by Dorsey High. Ralph Crenshaw, I lived right over here. And I used to hoop all the time at Rancho Cienega Park and go swimming. There used to be a swimming pool here. And we used to hoop right over here. This is the Jungles. Y'all see, they got the Rodeo Lane Apartments, which wasn't shit. But right across the street is the Jungles, from where I used to hoop. Right here, look way different now. But there go the Jungles. Y'all know the infamous Jungles where Training Day was filmed and all that shit. That's right here on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Right next to that is a basketball court. And this is where I learned how to hoop. This is where I first played organized basketball. This is where I learned to swim. Right here. It used to be an aquatic center there, and then it was a basketball court. And Venus and Serena Williams used to play tennis on this tennis court right here. I remember seeing Venus and Serena when they had them braids. They would sometimes play tennis right here. They would come from Compton up here to play tennis. This is South Central LA I grew up in. When these BPS niggas would be in a fight with one of the other gangs or some other gang bullshit, you know what they would come and tell us? We'd be out here hooping or on a tennis court or doing some shit. They would come and tell us, hey, DeJuan, I don't think you want to be out here the next 2 weeks playing basketball. There's some shit going on in the neighborhood, man. You don't come around. Duly noted. And I left. You let these niggas that rap talk, I was in a gang and they was no. These motherfuckers weren't all bad. They would tell us squares, hey, you little niggas don't want to be up here. They wasn't jumping nobody in the gang saying, hey, blood in, blood out, you got to be in the gang. They wasn't doing none of that. But you let these rappers talk, man, everybody in LA bang. No, the fuck they don't. And the gangs, the real gangs always have respect for those of us who didn't. And it was an open line of communication. Bug Ryder said Tupac protected guys like me growing up. No one protected me, you bitch. The fuck is you talking about? I protected myself. This nigga said Tupac protected people like me. No, if I had an issue with somebody, I handle it. No. Tupac protected goobers like you. Thank you for the money, though. Tupac protected goobers like your dumb ass. That's why you made that post. Tupac protected. Who even thinks of being protected other than a nigga who needed protection? That wouldn't even come to my mind to insult somebody else with, because that doesn't even register at any point in my life of anybody needing protection from anybody. Oh yeah, Super Crip. Super Crip was a motherfucker here in LA. Super Crip got shot up and still like dropped a double-double like 3 days after getting shot. Yep, that's where the African Marketplace. Yep, Tony B. Conscious, that's where the African Marketplace Festival used to take place. That whole field. Yep. Right, Easy Eye. That nigga said a rapper's finna protect somebody. What the fuck? What's wrong with these new school niggas? What the fuck? That nigga said protection? What the fuck is you talking about? Somebody said keep running from the fact that Pac was not rocking with Jay-Z. Who the fuck is running from that? We're not even talking about Jay-Z, you stupid fuck. I don't like Jay-Z. That be the issue with these people. Y'all be having these pre-thought out arguments in your head. This dude brought up Jay-Z as if he thought he ate with that comic. Man, fuck Jay-Z. This nigga over here thinking, no, just because I don't like Jay-Z. I like Tupac way more than I like Jay-Z. Fuck Jay-Z. You thought you ate with that comment, nigga? Fuck out of here. But all these comments are proof that what LaRussell is saying is right. Everyone that's in the chat mad. Y'all mad because you get a hard on every time you hear Lil Wayne go, yeah. You get a little, you remember your little peach fuzz around your balls stands up every time you hear, yeah. Now you mad at me. You niggas grew up with Tupac's balls in your jaws. And I'm just saying some real shit, and that bothers you. This proves LaRussell's point. Y'all grew up on some bullshit ass music. Listening to some bullshit. And you don't know how to synthesize when you get some real shit. And that cognitive dissonance in your head is making you mad, so you mad at me. Well, let me be the first to tell you. If you're mad at me, good. I don't apologize, and I'm loving the fact that you're mad. And if I could do more to make you even more mad, I promise you that I will. I promise you that I will. You're right about that, Deuce Times. Wait till they start going through Jay-Z's rhymes. See, that's what a lot of these niggas are scared of. They're scared of people going back and listening to their lyrics. That's why your lyrics right now are so important. Because there are certain people I go back, I remember hearing them the first time around. It was like, okay, the music just was jamming. Like the TLC I just played. That shit was jamming. Now that I'm older, I'll go back and listen to some of that and be like, yo, TLC was on some real stuff. I remember going back and listening to Ice Cube. I remember going back and listening to NWA about 10 years ago. Because everyone always said, oh, NWA was the worst thing ever. NWA, the NBA. So about 10 years ago, I went back. I got real high, smoked a lot of weed. And that really opens my mind up to the other planes of existence. And I went back and I listened to Straight Outta Compton again. And I was like, hold on. Gangster. I mean, Dope Man. Dope Man is a story warning people about the dangers of dope and really warning the dope man to get killed for poisoning the community. When I went back and listened to Straight Outta Compton as an adult, I didn't have the same takeaways I had as a kid. As a kid, dope man, that just sounded fun. Like, dope man. It kind of does sound like you celebrate the dope dealer. But the adult Dewan listened to that song and was like, yo, Dope Man is about killing the dope man. And I think that it's a good thing to go back and reassess music from your childhood. Because it's already in your subconscious. It's already in your subconscious. So you might as well go back and reassess it to see what words and how that played out in your subconscious. Oh, and tonight, we're going to do a review of Jill Scott's album. We're going to review Jill Scott's album tonight. Her new album on Patreon. Patreon and Mixcloud, we're going to do a review of Jill Scott's new album, okay? Look at this. Look at this. He's over here talking about women who get money from the dope, who date the dope man. Cube literally saying the dope man, he'll slap the shit out you because he has another bitch. This whole song is telling you,
if you smoke can, you a stupid motherfucker. None around the hood at the schoolyard clucker.
If you smoke cocaine, you a stupid motherfucker. This whole song is talking big shit about drug dealers and drug users. And then this is how the song ends. That's basically what Dope Man is talking about. Dope man, you think you slick. You sold crack to my sister, now she's sick. But if she happens to die because of your drug, I'm putting in your culo a 38 slug. But chat room, how many times have you heard people, especially them lame New York niggas, say that NWA brought that gangster stuff and that's what killed music? How many times have you heard that? But who actually went back and broke down the lyrics? When you go back and break down the lyrics, you can't come to that conclusion. Yeah, Too Short on Jill Scott's new album is dope. Talking about preachers and pimps. Yep. So I think it's a good thing to go back and listen to that old music to see what you get out of it. Because sometimes you'll go back and you'll listen to some stuff that you kind of like just kind of jam to, and then listen to it again and be like, yo, that song was talking about some real stuff. And then you'll go back and listen and be like, I used to bob my head to this shit. This song's stupid as hell. Ram yourself, appreciate the super chat. Fly John says, for standing on business, he said what he said. That's right. Appreciate that. Landon Dallas said, dudes are poxexuals. Babooic apocalypse now. Yeah, man. A lot of these dudes are closet homos when it come to Tupac. But I don't care. See, you emo niggas be running around and you think somebody give a fuck about how you feel. I'm gonna tell you right now, this ain't the place that gives a damn how none of you niggas feel. So I appreciate LaRussell for going back and telling the truth about what he feels. And a lot of you niggas, not only are you Tupac sexuals, y'all also and this is coming from the main person. I'm the main nigga that I've been calling out Jay-Z since Hard Knock Life. I've never liked Jay-Z. But a lot of you niggas is real dusty trying to blame everything on Jay-Z. Y'all blaming everything that happened on the Super Bowl on Jay-Z. You stupid motherfuckers don't know Jay-Z is just a pet camel that these white boys put out so y'all look at his stupid ass and not the system. Jay-Z's not that fucking powerful. Jay-Z's just look at him like Joe Cool. Y'all remember the Camel cigarettes? The Camel wasn't the one making the cigarettes. The Camel wasn't the one making the market ideas. The Camel was just a face to sell some cigarettes. That's all Jay-Z is. That's all Jay-Z is. See, a lot of y'all a lot of y'all niggas, y'all some male barbs. You Nicki Minaj ass niggas. This is Jay-Z. Jay-Z is to hip-hop what Joe Camel was to cigarettes. Joe Camel didn't make a cigarette. Joe Camel didn't invest in a cigarette. Joe Camel didn't even smoke cigarettes. But Joe Camel sold a lot of cigarettes. That's Jay-Z. Jay-Z ain't Rock Nation. Jay-Z ain't the NFL. Jay-Z is just the camel-faced niggas selling to you dumb motherfuckers that think he got some power. That's all the fuck Jay-Z is. Calm the hell down. Jay-Z is Joe Camel. He sells you a product. He's not the brains behind the product. Okay? Jay-Z is Joe Kimmel. He's a mascot. He's a mascot. Okay? He's a mascot. Endorser, right? Yeah, join the Mixcloud. Tonight we're doing a review of Jill Scott's new album on Mixcloud and over on Twitter. I mean, also on Patreon. But I'm glad LaRussell said this stuff. I really am. I really am glad he said what he said. Because we all should go back and reassess what we listen to. You're going to find some gems and find some stuff. You're going to find some stuff you listened to back in the day. Be like, yo, I missed that. I just like this song because it jammed. But I missed all that. That's some good shit. Then you can go back and listen to something like, damn, I was listening to that. Appreciate the super chat, Lennon Dallas. Hip hop figurehead, head Z. Like, I remember being a kid I remember when I got to be an adult going back and listening to MC Hammer. I loved MC Hammer as a kid. I did. But then I went back and listened. I listened to MC Hammer's greatest hit. Just put on the hammer and you will be rewarded. My beat is everlasting and you know I get it started. Get it started. And that was some dumb shit. That was not dumb. That was some great shit to watch the videos and watch him dance. Then I went back and listened to Pumps and the Bumps. I was like, man, this shit was corny. Stop. Hammer time. Like, man, that shit was corny as hell. But I loved it. I loved it. I loved it when it came out. And I would still go see MC Hammer in concert to this day, the way he be dancing. But I'd be like, man, this shit was corny as fuck. But when I was a kid, that MC Hammer shit was everything to me. As an adult, I was like, damn, I like this. Fuck. Which takes us to Hammer. Yeah, I'm with you. Hammer is great memories. He is. I love that shit when it came out. But when I listened to it again with adult ears, I was like, man, this shit was corny. But I still will spend money to go see Hammer till this day. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yeah, Pump and the Bump did not. But truth is, that song was corny. I still will go see Hammer live. Yes, the fuck I will. Somebody said y'all pick and choose. Yes, dummy. Sometimes you pick an apple. Sometimes you pick an orange. What's wrong with that? Everyone picks and chooses. You can't take it all, right? I was going to talk about Toure. I might still get to it, but before I get that, any of y'all got an issue? Call in. Let me do that. People, because there's a lot of people that got problems. You got a problem? Voice your opinion. 323-705-5150, extension 800. Somebody said y'all pick and choose. Of course people pick and choose. As I said, y'all inhale and exhale. Yes. You're supposed to inhale and exhale. Oh yeah, pray was the shit. That's why we pray. Pray, pray. We got to pray just to make it today. I remember Evander Holyfield was in that video. Yeah, I'm gonna speak on Toure. For those you don't know, it's this weird ass nigga that used to be on the mainstream TV who wants to give an N-word pass to white people who talk about ICE agents, who talk to black ICE agents. First off, anybody who looks like this, you ought to know it. This dude is showing you how goddamn batshit crazy he is with this fake ass Einstein, fake ass Back to the Future hairdo look that he got. Listen to what this mud booty dude had to say about the N-word and passes.
99.9% of the time, it is wrong for a white person to call a black person the N-word, but we may have found the exception. In Minneapolis recently, a white anti-ICE protester was in a group of anti-ICE protesters yelling at a black ICE Gestapo agent. An unidentified white male called the black ICE agent a house N-word who's working for the KKK. That's right, we have a white man calling a black man the N-word. But this is a little bit different. White on black usage of the N-word is a very serious issue. But this is a curveball example. Is it wrong for a white person to call a black ICE officer a house N-word? Let's explore. The white man who used the N-word in this situation was being historically precise. This black ICE agent, he is being a house N-word to the utmost degree. A black man in ICE is a modern house slave. He's a barely paid mule for white.
I can't take no more of this shit. Look at this Dedrick Frugless looking ass nigga with grandma glasses on saying that it's okay for a white man to use an N-word towards a black person that's doing his job, working for ICE. And he conflates ICE with the KKK. He conflated ICE with the Klan. And I'm noticing none of you niggas had an issue with what I had to say about Tupac or LaRussell or Lil Wayne calling in. Further on, proving my point about what's going on. Recent music has raised a whole bunch of recent bitch ass niggas who only want to be emotionally connected to and cry like hoes when people don't agree with them. Everything I said the first hour and 20 minutes of my show got proven because ain't none of you punk ass niggas wanting to call in and speak your piece. Back to what we talking about when it comes to this nigga. So he conflates ICE with the Klan. Let's break that down. ICE is an official government job. And it's a job that enforces the laws of the land. And when I say laws of the land, that is every land, every square inch of earth. Every square inch of earth is controlled by citizenship laws. From Argentina to Antarctica. If you show up in Antarctica tomorrow, there will be their version of ICE. I'd imagine in Antarctica, their ICE agents are literally ICE. But if you go to Antarctica tomorrow and walk your punk ass around on that island, go to the ice wall, somebody's going to come to get you and say you don't belong here. That's going to happen if you show up on a boat to East Timor or if you're in East St. Louis. If you're in South Sudan or South Central LA. If you're in Russia or Chicago. If you are on any parts of these lands without proper paperwork, every country on the earth agrees you must go. So if you work for ICE, you are working for the United States version of a similar operation that goes on in Mexico, similar operations that go on in Egypt, Chile, Uzbekistan, Mongolia, Turkmenistan, Panama, Canada, England, Italy, Morocco, Sri Lanka, Bora Bora, Australia, New Zealand, Tanzania, Tasmania. Any of these places you go to and you're there longer than your paperwork says you should be there, there's going to be an ICE-style agent for that local municipality, that local government, to kick your ass out the country. The Klan is a non-legitimate, non-government recognized paramilitary organization that harassed people, tax-paying citizens who belong in this country, and they ruled by mob rule, and the Klan didn't get people and send them home back to where they were born. The Klan got black people and sent them home back to the Lord Jesus Christ. That's a big difference. Someone called in, but they hung up. Whatever. That's a big difference. ICE is sending you home. The Klan sent you home to be with Jesus. And for this cross-eyed, effeminate motherfucker to conflate the two is criminal. That is criminal. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up? What's up, Dwan, man? This Who Dat, man, from New Orleans. I talked to you a while ago. What's going on?
Who Dat from New Orleans? What's on your mind, my brother?
Yeah. Now I wanted to go back to that the studio gangster stuff you was talking about. I know you was talking about LaRussell and a Lil Wayne comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me break down Lil Wayne real quick. So, I'm from New Orleans. I'm from the 3rd Ward. Lil Wayne is originally from the 17th Ward. But, Lil Wayne became famous when he was like 11 years old. So he really wasn't in those streets doing nothing. He got all of his talking points or studio gangsterism from the original Hot Boys, which were dudes in the streets that was really, selling dope. And, they was in a drug game. So the original Hot Boys were guys that was from New Orleans, that was around the city, that was, selling dope and, killing people and all that stuff. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So Lil Wayne moved to East New Orleans, like New Orleans East. That's like being from LA County versus being like from Los Angeles. Like it's an outskirts. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and then so when he was a teenager, he moved to the suburbs, which is the east, which is not the suburbs now. It's totally different now. But he moved to the east, and then from there he moved to Miami. So I don't think nobody, like, if you actually talk to people from New Orleans, I don't think anybody would disagree with what anybody's saying about him. We all know he wasn't no gangster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and that's the issue with all the talk. It's like you really talk about something that you don't even have a full context of what it is.
Yeah. I had another thing you said. You said about Pac being a studio gangster. I'll say this. I feel like, you know, majority of 90s rappers that was talking that talk would be like considered a studio gangster.
I agree.
If we're talking like if you putting it like that. But I don't think Pac was really pushing a line like he was a gang banger. I think, you know, Tupac was young. He was 25 years old when he lost his life. And I just feel like he made a mistake because, you know, he was in and out of, you know, the Bay Area, LA and all that, you know, back and forth or whatever. And, you know what I'm saying, he was in a bind when he was, you know, when he got signed to Death Row, got out of jail in New York. And he was cool with Suge. And Suge, you know, affiliated with the mob. And, you know, even before Death Row, Pac was cool with Big Sight, who was with I believe he was the Insanes. He was the Crips out there. So, and then, you know, he was cool with the people in the Bay. So I think a lot of folks, like, a lot of guys was messing with Pac. Like, you know, the people that was in the industry that was affiliated was messing with Pac. So I don't think he even had to even try to act like he was in the game. Even though he was wearing the colors, I just think the colors was more, he was doing that for like he was wearing that because it matches clothes. I don't think it was really he was saying, oh, I'm this or I'm that. But I just think he just made a mistake in that casino when he ran up on Orlando because he was so loyal to the mob because, you know, they embraced him real hard.
He was
when, you know what I'm saying, he was going through all that stuff.
The issue was this when it comes to, like, it wasn't him saying I'm from it wasn't about Pac saying I'm from this set, I'm from that set. It's about the messaging when you look at All Eyes on Me moving forward. You know, and a lot of the music that was in it, it promoted a lot of the themes that we talked about in the gang life. You know what I mean? And I think that Pac in some ways felt that he had to live up to that. And that's why I've always said the studio gangster's the worst. Because the studio gangsters oftentimes are going to do what it takes to prove that they're a real gangster. A real gangster ain't going to run up on nobody in no goddamn casino. Because a real gangster knows that's federal time. All that money around the casino, you're automatically dealing with Fed time. A real gangster know this man to the left of me and to the right of me got felonies. So I got to make sure I'm straight. Because if I get into it, these my homies, they got my back. They gonna jump in this shit. But if they jump in, now we got injunction laws. Now they getting gang enhancements. Now they could probably spend the next 10, 15 years in jail over this. So a real gangster understands all this shit. The studio gangster, somebody that's trying to fit into the environment, they're not thinking like this. They want to prove that they belong. I'm not saying Tupac was perfect. What I'm using him as an example of what happens when people jump into lifestyles that aren't who they are at the core. The real gangsters was living that lifestyle when they was 19, 11. By the time they 25, they 15 years into this environment. You know what I mean? So it's a different outcome. It's the reason why those other guys that was standing with Suge saw Orlando too and didn't do anything. He was the only one who did. And again, we're not criticizing Pac. What we're doing is we are making, with this show, really pointing out that you gotta know what it is. The illusion stuff is where people get in trouble when they're under illusions. You know, if you use this time and reflect back on the music, like LaRussell was saying, it'll help you break through the illusions, break through the delusions, and just be honest about the result of what these things are. And that's all we're really talking about when it comes to Pac.
Right.
He's still tougher than 99% of these niggas that are out now. But his toughness has nothing to do with gangs. His toughness is because he's a tough nigga.
Right. He was always the shit. And you also gotta keep in mind that Pac was he was on bail. So I just think he just made a high-headed decision because he was a hothead. Because, you know, remember he was out on bail when he got with Death Row. So anything that he did, if Pac wouldn't have got shot that night, he would have went back to jail.
Oh yeah, he'd been locked. If he didn't get locked, he'd have been locked up for a few years. He probably would have been. Yeah, he probably been locked up. I just think he just made like an impulse.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I want to say, man.
Right, man,
one more thing, bro. One more thing. So if we gonna put Pac in that studio gangster thing category, we gotta put Ice Cube in there too, because he was pushing that with the West Side Connection. He was pushing all that bow down and all that stuff too. Right when Pac was pushing.
No, you don't. You weren't listening to Cube's lyrics. Cube never identified with being a gangster. He talked about gangster rap. He bowed down when you
no, not identifying with it. I'm saying he was doing the same thing Pac was doing. Bow down when you come to our town. That's not a gang. That's saying bow down when you come to LA. Yeah, I'm saying like the whole during that time, that was right after Hit 'Em Up came out.
West Side Connection was pushing West Side Connection did party music. Only person that talked about anything gangster specifically was Mac 10. He was the only one that was actually in the gang, Mac 10. And he wasn't even really in the gang. He was, but he was associated closely with the Bloods out here. Cube,
I thought Doug C was too.
Cube's
with the Crips.
whole career was talking about the harm of being a gangster. Never did he ever glorify it. It was always, this is what gangsters do, and this is the result of what happens when you do it. So,
that's the same thing Tupac was doing. So they was doing the same thing.
No. What Tupac was doing was, Tupac was going around with West Side. He was going around with Suge. He was donning the attire. He was promoting the thug life. And Tupac, although previous Tupac had reasonable things to talk about, Tupac was going around with these dudes and really pushing that lifestyle. Cube never pushed the lifestyle. You're conflating two things that have nothing to do with each other. Now, if you conflated Tupac with Mac 10, then I roll with you. But Cube and Mac 10 weren't even doing the same thing. They were different aspects of the same group, telling the story from different points of view. They weren't pushing none of that stuff. Now, say again, if you were to conflate him with Mac 10, I would roll with that. But bow down when I come to your town, that's plain old rap. My city is better than your city. Bragging, braggadocious, next to shiny suit style music. It's West Coast version of shiny suit rap. That's all that was. But thanks for getting us a call, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
No, gangsters don't wake their people up. Men wake their people up. Samurai Cam, you have a strong delusion between what's a gangster and what's a man. Cube was using a popular subject because he understood the industry pushed that gangsterism. So he was using a subject that he had to rap about and flipping it and putting a meaning behind what was going on. And like I said before, call in if you have an issue. Somebody said, just say you don't like Pac. Hey, dude, hey, Mr. Ice, again, this must be a person that was born at, must be 30. You stupid. And I mean that, Mr. Ice Jones, and don't take it personal. It's not about, I'm a grown-ass man. What the fuck do you care about what I like? I'm not gay. I don't like no man, okay? And I made it very clear when I started the show. I'm not the biggest fan of Tupac's music. I said that. I don't like or dislike any of these people as humans because I don't know them as humans, stupid. Appreciate the super chat, Famously Blacker. God damn, you niggas is dumb. I swear to God, we need to go back to the 80s and the 90s to when retarded people felt stupid for talking. If you a retard, I don't want you comfortable talking around me. Just say you don't like. Shut your sissy ass up. We can have a point of view without it, and not matter if you like or dislike somebody. I'm a grown-ass man. I can speak objectively. Like I said earlier about, I used Snoop as an example earlier. Snoop is one of my favorite rappers of all time. But I made it very clear. I learned at a young age, repeating murder was the case that they gave me is poison. So whether I like Snoop or dislike Snoop, you're never going to hear me going around singing murder. Because I don't want to send that prayer into the universe of saying that I got pinned with a murder case. You fucking dummy. It's not about what you like or don't like. It's about the message. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Dwan? This is Zone out of Phoenix.
Zone out of Phoenix. What's on your mind?
Great show, great topic. I don't disagree with anything that you said, actually. I agree with basically everything that you said. I just want to say this, right? Because I think what a lot of people aren't understanding from what you're saying and from what LaRussell is saying is you're talking about the majority versus the minority. When he brought up Lil Wayne, he was talking about, Lil Wayne might have one or two songs where he's talking about, like the social injustices or social things going on with the government or the mistreatment of people. He might have a song here and there, but the majority of his songs are not that. Like the majority of his mixtapes and albums are not that. And so I think that's what a lot of people not really comprehending and understanding. We got to realize, and just even like with the previous caller, not to disrespect him or anything, when he was talking about Cube, right? What we got to understand with the music industry is you're going to have to put out, in order to get promote a new album or promote a new movie or tour or whatever, you're going to have to come out with a song here and there to get some radio play, to get people into what you got going on. And Cube is really somebody that you really have to study and understand Cube, because a lot of Cube's music is, he might have a club banger, but when you listen to a lot of his music, it's a lot. It's about the struggle. It's about what's going on, what was going on in the neighborhoods. It's about the government being corrupt. It's about Trump being corrupt. It was about Bush being corrupt. So Cube is a perfect example to put out those lead singles, to get people in. But then when you actually listen to his project, he really talking about some deep shit. And then we got to realize too, the people that really that have the worst music, they always gonna get the most shine. And I like what you were saying with Tupac. I'm a fan of the Digital Underground Tupac. I like that Tupac. Now Tupac has some good music with the All Eyes on Me, Death Row, and all that. But to me, like when he did that, it really did diminish his character and it really did diminish his art. You see what I'm saying? And and we have to just be real about it, and we have to look at that version of Tupac is the same as Lil Wayne, is the same as Eminem, because Eminem came out pushing all that pill popping, poison.
I always say Eminem was the first to really glorify taking drugs. Before that, the drug dealer we clown drug users. Like the crackhead was a butt of a joke. Eminem made the drug user acceptable, and Lil Wayne made the drug user cool. It's like Lil Wayne was the evolution of Eminem. Eminem brought that shit into hip hop, and Lil Wayne made it bigger. And Future just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say Future next. And see, here's the thing. See, with Eminem, like the first half of his career, that's all it was. He was talking about the struggles with his ex-wife, his mom, the alcohol, the drugs. And see, when later in his career, when he got down to when he started getting serious, when he got down to the Recovery album, and after, when he started talking about changing his life around, coming out with songs like I'm Not Afraid, coming out with positive songs, see, now he ain't getting no radio play like that. Now they don't want to push and promote what he's saying because he ain't talking about what he used to talk about. And like you said, even with Future, you'll really be hard pressed to even find like a handful of songs where Future's talking about the government being corrupt, talking about the social injustices. Like You know what I'm saying? Like it's the way that LaRussell summed up that Lil Wayne situation, where if I give you a hug once, but if I slap you 1,000 times, you're probably gonna remember me for slapping you around more so for than giving you a hug. Like you said, that was a perfect example, and I think that's what people aren't understanding is that, yeah, like what you were saying, like even with Ice Cube, that doesn't really fit in with the gangster rap. Bow down when you come to our town. That's like you said, that's any town. You go to Phoenix, you go to LA, you go to New York, Miami.
It's more. You hear the same shit in country western music. They basically tell you to bow down when you come to the South. You know that's any multiple forms of music got bragging songs about where they from.
Yeah, even. Yeah, my bad, B. So, like, look, and then 2 more examples with Ice Cube. Like he said in that song.
One because I gotta get to the next call.
Okay, but even he got a song where he start off, he say, it's boys in the hood, it's bloods in the hood. You know what I'm saying? He's starting off a song with that, and that right there should show you what Ice Cube is all about, and that type of music is all about. But I'll land my plane, Dewan. Thank you for letting me speak.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. I got in a super chat. Thanks for the money. He says, you don't call Snoop for stealing Slick Rick's entire song, Lottie Dottie, but you same Jay-Z. Hey, Buck Rogers, I appreciate your money, but you a dumb motherfucker. This kind of goes back to what LaRussell said. If I slap you once, if I hug you once and slap you 1,000 times, I'm going to remember the 1,000 times you slapped me, not the once you hugged me. You literally called out Snoop for one song when he remade a Slick Rick song that he gave Slick Rick credit for. It was it's called a cover tune. This is Slick Rick's song. Jay-Z built an entire career off stealing other people's music. Not one song, albums. 99 Problems But a Bitch Ain't One. Me and My Girlfriend. Excuse Me, Miss. You go up and down Jay-Z from 98 to 2008 and listen to all the shit that he sold, and you conflated that with one Tupac song? Snoop song in a show to where LaRussell literally just said that, man. LaRussell literally said, you can't come out with 2 songs that are good that don't neutralize the 1,000 songs that wasn't shit. You can't come to me with the one song Snoop covered versus the hundreds that Jay-Z stole, you stupid motherfucker. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Yo, I'm calling from Pasadena, bro.
Pasadena, what's on your mind?
Hey, bro. Tupac kind of like he remind me of like when the standards dropped, bro. Like he was never that like. Hey, now this is just me, bro. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings or something. And then,
go ahead and hurt feelings.
Either at the same time.
Go ahead and hurt feelings.
I don't really care either. But Tupac is just a hypocritical motherfucker, bro. And then it's be like, yo, bro, I was watching like the Death Row documentary and shit, which was like a good documentary with like they got some good stuff on there, but they be like, yeah, man, and you know, at first I thought he was just dumb, but I came to listen to him and I didn't know how deep he was. I'm like, yo, but deep what? Like where is like the deep, like so ahead of his time shit, bro? Because when I listen to that motherfucker, when he does go, you know, quote intellectual, bro, all I hear is like him pleading to white people basically and shit. Same type of talking points like that. Then he be going off like a follower and shit. Like he just half this, half that, bro. Like I just never really fuck with it, bro. It's just he's just a fucking hypocrite. He's not tough to me. Like he's a fucking actor, but that's just me, bro.
Hey, you said your opinion and stand on it. Look, if people get hurt at your opinion, that's their problem.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I just saw the show right now. So I just randomly called in, so I don't even like have no points together or nothing. So I'm just like talking straight up off of like off of nothing, bro.
Stand on your square, dog, man. Thanks for giving us a call. Stand on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Tupac's fucking lame, bro. He got the same cadences as far as his fucking music. He's not tough. He fucking had Shook backing him. He looked fucking scared in jail. He took like the first deal he could get. That's understandable, bro. But I mean, like, he's just not impressive to me. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, that's it, bro.
Real talk, man. Thanks for giving us a call.
All right.
See, he said what he said. If you got an issue with what he said, why don't you call in? That's his opinion. You ain't got to get mad at that man over his opinion. He has reason for believing that way. Me personally, I'm not as extreme as the caller's stance on Tupac. Mine's a little closer to the middle, but I respect what he had to say. Although where I am on it is a little further this way, but everybody's right. VGQ, Victims Guarantee Qualifications. But he made a good point. But here's the thing I wanna talk about, because people like to get into ages and all that stuff. Cube was only 16 when he wrote Boys in the Hood. Nas was only what, 17, 18 when he wrote when he wrote his original stuff. I don't want to hear that age stuff. We've had some of the most beautiful, most wise music come out of teenagers in Black America. Let's not bring the age thing into it. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
I'm calling in to say your head looks like a milk.
That was a horrible accent. Whoever that was calling from an unknown number, that accent was horrible. That nigga sound like they jack off to the cartoon Annie. And that's why you like Hard Knock Life. Because your whole ass was jocking off to the Raggedy Ann dolls. That was horrible. I hung up before they even got it off. What's up, Carl? You calling back?
Yeah, my fault, bro. I just want, because I like I said, bro, I just called out of nowhere. Now I like sat down on the computer and I'm looking at the chat real quick. So I'll clear something up real quick.
Make it real quick.
It's cool.
I got some other people calling in, but go ahead real quick.
All right, yeah. So I'll be fast. So what I mean is, like, yeah, like, so he make like the standards drop. So y'all just so happy with any little small shit because niggas ain't saying shit. But anyway, the point with the white talking points, he'll be like, so I just want to know, so why is a white life more, how do you say, valuable than a black life? Yes, he be having plenty of interviews like that.
Yeah, I saw some of that stuff too.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I hear where you come from, but I don't want to get too caught up on. But now you made your point, man. I appreciate you for giving us a call. I got some other calls I got to get to.
All right, cool. Hey, thanks, Don. Yes, all right, cool.
Whoever that was, call back. I just missed like 2 calls. Somebody said, Dewan, you disloyal. Who am I supposed to be loyal to? The fuck do you mean disloyal? Buck Rogers, call in. Disloyal to who? You think? Am I supposed to be loyal to fucking Tupac? I didn't know that nigga. I appreciate what he did, but I also saw the destruction that he brought with his music, and I don't like it. You got a problem with it? Suck the devil's dick. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Man, I'm Ferris. I'm from Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. What's on mind?
All right, good brother. Yeah. I mean, I don't see really like and Dewan, I listen to you a lot, so I know you know, because you be able to explain to me what you don't like about the destruction that Tupac brought to, you know what I'm saying, to the world or to the hip hop game or whatnot. Because let me tell you what I have seen from him. He was a brother that was just rapping, and he was talking about being trapped, and on his first tape he was pop a song, and you know what I'm saying, you ain't no Tupac fan if you didn't listen to the first tapes, and then the Thug Life and Me Against the World, cause all that, you know what I'm saying, was way before the Death Row. Death Row did get more seemed like he got more violent and more. I mean, the "Hit 'Em Up" song was the only song I ever really heard him talking about gunning down on somebody or running down or you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, he gonna do something to somebody. I really didn't hear too much crazy madness, you know what I'm saying, that would hurt the community. That's just my opinion.
I don't know if you must have came in late because we talked about pre-Death Row Tupac being somebody who was an asset to music. And Death Row
I did
Tupac,
come in late, bro.
We talked about, we specifically narrowed it down to Death Row Tupac. Is when you started to see a lot of the things change, a lot of the themes change, and it's how he lived his life. And let me give you an example. People will be very quick to be like, well, Tupac did have a poem. Well, Tupac did shoot 2 police officers. All right, let's look at that. When you look at Tupac's overall effect, what he left and what message did people get? Those who say that they love Tupac. Most 99% of them gravitate towards the quote unquote gangster side. Ain't none of these niggas gonna shoot no goddamn cops messing with a black man. Hell, Tupac also did great things, like when it came to Carl Kanai, he put on Carl Kanai's fit and posed for free for Carl Kanai to push the Carl Kanai brand. How many rappers that came out post Tupac is gonna do that? Pose and say, no, the way Carl Kanai said it, he said he donned his clothes because Tupac was like, oh no, you black. I'm gonna do this because you black. Tupac did so much pro-black shit. Name any of these rappers that came out of pro-black that came post-Tupac that picked up on that side of Tupac. The Tupac that would see a black designer and say, just because you black, I'm gonna promote your shit. Name the black rapper that even to this day will stand. You can't find a black rapper that will stand up to Fat Joe saying hip hop was created by Puerto Ricans 50-50. These rappers is punk ass niggas. Tupac wouldn't have stood. Man. The shit that Tupac was a man and principally stood on, you're not gonna get none of these dusty ass rappers that came after Tupac to stand on them. But you'll get a 50 Cent to come out and have the strong gangster look image with his shirt off and singing. You'll get Ja Rule singing like him, but he's 50 goddamn years old getting in pillow fights on the airport last week. You'll get punk ass niggas like Drake that want to be the ladies' man that Tupac was. You'll get bitch ass Puffy who want to be the ladies' man that he was, but he beat on women and fuck over niggas on a contract. For all the great things that I associate Tupac with, ain't none of these niggas that came after him repeated none of that shit. They only repeated the thug life shit.
Hey, Duane B, man, I appreciate that, man. I'm glad to hear you say everything that you said. You know what I'm saying? Because it's good that you got people with different opinions on here. But my thing about Tupac, one thing I want to say is that people forget he was 25, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't get a chance to.
I don't give him
spread
that.
His wings.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't give him that. So many greats died at a young age like that before they were 25. Jimi Hendrix died at 27. It's like, I mean, when you're looking at what a lot of our greats, Charlie Parker lived long, but he was basically out of it by the time he hit 30. You got so many greats that we had. You look at Cube. Cube wrote "Who's the Mac" and wrote all that stuff by the time he was 21, 22. Nas, by the time he was 20, 23, 24, showed us who we were. It's a lot of our great writers wrote a lot of great things before they were 25 and stood on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you were saying. I get what you're saying, bro. I mean, I'm just saying, I still look at Pac being, you know, a different. He would have been, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, because he ain't here. So I get that.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not arguing with you though, brother. I'm not arguing with you. That's just saying that's just a point of view that, like my chat said, Otis Redding was. We've had so many greats that had died by the time they were 25, 27. Yeah. Tupac was just one of many. Yeah. No, they're not minimizing it, but he had time to, you know. But I hear what you're saying.
He was one of those special ones. Q, my favorite of all time, bro. You know, Us is my favorite song of all time.
Yeah, Us is the shit, ain't it?
Classic, bro. classic. That whole death certificate, man, was classic. Then at the end of the tape, when it ain't over, mother, you know, and then that came on, No Vaseline come on, bro. That was just it. That was
real
just
talk,
it.
man.
But yeah, bro, I like it. I like your show, bro. You know what I'm saying? Dwayne, you know what I'm saying? You keep it up, man. Do your thing, man.
I appreciate that, man.
You know, let me say something about LaRussell real quick. One time.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? I like this dude, LaRussell. You know what I'm saying? He coming on doing his thing. I've been paying attention to him a little bit. And I got hit to him. I heard Zoe say something about him. Then I seen something about him. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? But whatever he talking about with Lil Wayne, I came in the show real late. So I don't know what he said to Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I didn't like Lil Wayne after, you know what I'm saying, after his second album. I was cool on dude, man. He sound like he's drunk, man, all the time. And they was talking about the Super Bowl. I argue with my son's mom, man, about, you know what I'm saying, him going to the Super Bowl. I'm like, man, why would he even be a part to be there? He's not no good performer.
Right.
Come on, bro.
Let's be real, man. But thanks for giving us a call, brother.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Hey, ain't no goddamn performer. Russell Red said Pac was revolutionary, not a gangster. Thank you. But he said he's the most talented artist in Black history behind Michael Jackson. No thank you to that. I wouldn't say he's the most talented artist behind Michael Jackson. That's a little bit too much. You skipped over Stevie Wonder, Barry White, Ray Charles. Do you know the level of talent Black America has? It's Count Basie, Duke Ellington. What? You passed over Duke Ellington for Tupac? Oh, no, man. You went past Ray Charles? Do you know what Ray Charles did? You know what Stevie Wonder did? Barry White? You know what they did? Isaac Hayes and Porter? Ugh. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. But that's also why I teach music history, man. A lot of us don't know the depth of greatness that Black America has rendered to the world. Not even Black Americans. Yeah, Tupac over Prince? Sammy Davis Jr. played every instrument. Nigga skipped over Prince. You skipped over George Clinton? Did you skip over James Brown? Somebody said Tupac clears Isaac Hayes. Do you know that Isaac Hayes rescued a full record label? Do you know that? When Otis Redding and the Barcades died in that airplane, it was Isaac Hayes and Porter that rescued Stax Records. Do you know that? So that's what I mean by y'all don't be knowing y'all history. Isaac Hayes resuscitated a whole fucking record label. Otis Redding died. Stax Records was done for. And then Isaac Hayes and Porter wrote this. This is Isaac Hayes, man. Not only did he do that, then the early days of funk, when funk first reached the South, Isaac Hayes came up with this beat that rappers took. And he rapped. Oh, no, Tupac, no, Isaac Hayes literally resuscitated a whole record label after Otis Redding died. You don't compare that. No, Tupac did not rescue the West Coast. The West Coast was on top, dummy. The biggest rapper in music was Snoop. The biggest, Death Row was already the biggest label on the planet when Tupac signed with them. The fuck do you mean he rescued? That's why I gotta talk music history. Cause you niggas is be forgetting, or either don't know, forgot. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. But who the fuck said that he rescued? Death Row was already #1 when he signed with them, dummy. Oh my God. If you're under 40, just don't talk. Just stop talking. I wish I could put a 40 and over comment section in here. He said Pac started off going in the right direction, but he went backwards. Right. This nigga said Pac rescued the West Coast. Oh my God. The West Coast was just coming off Ice Cube's 4-album run, America's Most Wanted, Death Certificate, The Predator, Lethal Injection. It was just coming off Doggy Style. It was just coming off The Chronic. Nate Dogg is coming out doing his thing. Warren G saved Def Jam Records though with Regulate, but that was still, all this shit was happening on the West. And this dumb motherfucker said Tupac rescued the West. Oh my God. I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. We're going to do a review of Jill Scott's album tonight. We're going to do a review of Jill Scott's new beautiful album tonight. Appreciate that Lennon Data says George Clinton without the dope is my spirit animal. Hell yeah, his style of funk saved everything. But I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, Marquise. What's up, Marquise? I ain't seen you in a minute. That was the dumbest comment of the week. Yeah, like, I'm done. We made my point. Thank you, LaRussell, for saying what you had to say. Go back and listen to your old music that you had growing up. And re-listen to the stuff. Get the messages, positive and negative. All right. Patreon, we're going to be reviewing Jill Scott's album later on tonight. I got one more super chat before I leave. Russell Red said, most talented is not just saying musical talent artist, but big screen, he was a better actor than a rapper. He was most definitely a great actor. But I hear what you're saying, Russell Red. No disrespect to you. I'm just pissed off at somebody saying Tupac rescued the West when Death Row was at his peak. This nigga said Tupac found the Ark of the Covenant. You right, you listen to these niggas talk, you would think that. Damn. But y'all make sure y'all have a good one tonight. Yeah, that comment, I'm done. We will do a review of Jill Scott's album later on tonight, all right? Y'all have a good one. We out.